Now this was my first Vivobarefoot that I bought with my own money. This is called the Vivobarefoot Scott. This is one of the shoes they have in their winter collection. I got these in 2017 at the time when I needed a new winter boot. It has all the features that you would want in a shoe. It has a great design. It has a very flat toe box. It's very flexible, and it's very, very wide. This particular model is my gold standard when it comes to having a shoe with a wide toe box. Now, let me be clear. This shoe was not designed to withstand Canadian winters. Although my feet were nice and snug, I do find that Vivo has a lot to improve on when it comes to their winter boots. Now, these soles particularly are 4 millimeters thin, but you still have a lot of grip and flexibility when it comes to the shoe itself. I use these all the time because, again, this was literally my first boot that I bought with my own money. So I use this at my office job. I use this going on the bus. I use this actually skateboarding, and you can see a little bit of destruction right there from skateboarding. But this shoe got me excited about footwear design and understanding how to make shoes with these barefoot principles. Now, and for this particular shoe, this was a great winter boot because, for one thing, on the inner lining of the toe, I don't know if you can see it there with the lighting, but they actually have in there stitched in a wool lining. So this whole upper part of the toe is basically very insulated. And on the inside, they have thin insulate. So that keeps your foot and heel very warm in the wintertime. I will say the downside to this boot particularly was their insole. Now, for whatever reason, they decided that this was good enough for winter. I don't think they anticipated how cold it can get out there. So the whole idea for this insole is that it has a aluminum foil that's kind of stitched into the insole so that the idea is that it reflects your heat. Now, this works really well if you're standing inside a warm building. I found at the office that my feet would actually start heating up and start sweating a little bit too much than I would be comfortable with. But outside, I found that this was the issue, that if it was cold on the ground, the cold would get to my foot quicker because the sole is thinner, and the heat that's already in my foot wouldn't keep my foot warm enough to reflect the heat on the inside. So there were many times where my feet were actually pretty cold in this, even though the shoe is already built in an insulated way. And it wasn't really until the last 2 years that I had looked into getting some wool insoles, and that's what I actually ended up getting recently. And I got this through the wisdom of Anya's Reviews. She's another Instagram that has a website as well that talks about barefoot shoes, but that's how I found out about these wool/sheepskin insoles. And you can get these pretty cheap. I got these for about $10 at the time, but they're on sale for $8, so I got 2 pairs. But this actually helped improve my winter experience because what I realized was that you needed some sort of barrier to keep your feet warm and keep all that heat. So this was great. You combine this with like some wool socks, you're good to go. So that was my solution to my insole problem, but that's besides the point. So Vivobarefoot, if you ever find this video, please change your insoles. They need to be better. They need to withstand these Canadian winters. Now, the other thing I didn't like about this shoe in particular was this heel tab. It's too small to get my full finger in there. So I use this ring to help me just put on the boot a little quicker. But other than that, this has been the best shoe I've literally had in my life. It's changed my perspective about footwear and allowed me to have the freedom to move my toes in a way that I didn't think they could move before. Because you think about it, if a mitten is a glove to your hand, then a shoe is definitely a glove to your foot. So this allows my foot to splay out, to have that flexibility and dexterity that it needs without being oppressed by the toe box. But this was the start of something new on my barefoot shoe journey.